Awesome gluten things. We got John Young, the CrossFit analyst of the stars, and every single podcast that there is in the space, John Young is on it. So happy to have you, man. I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. This is so cool for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. Thank you for
I'm
having me.
like nerding out like crazy right now. I just wanted to ask you one question. When you did the Hiller video, the 24.3, when you analyzed his thrusters, did you know before you watched the video that he was gonna go down that road of saying that his thrusters didn't look good anymore?
No. He just asked people in the chat. He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna critique my own 24.3. If anybody wants to hop in, you can." And I was just waking up from a nap, and I'm like, "Sure, man. Like, let's do it." and
'Cause
then we looked at mine, and I had not looked at mine previous to that. Like, I did it that morning, and I had not watched it. So they were all the first time I was seeing my reps too.
that was because we were there when he was doing it, and his reps didn't look bad. We all were like, "Oh, man, look how low his squat is." And then he gets on the video, and you even look surprised too, like, "Dude, no, your thrusters look fine. They look fine." And then he starts with the little red line. And I was like, "Oh," and you were like, "Oh," so I was just curious if you even knew beforehand or it was just
No, he does squat in a way that like all the way down is essentially parallel, which is not.
it's weird.
It's super hard to do if you're going to be a rep Nazi about it. It's very difficult for those people who squat that way. My wife squats that way.
It's I don't even wanna talk about my squats. I squat like Noah Olson. I'm not that's
You're
not
really wide.
yeah, this is just really bad. Um, but okay, so let's get into it. I was curious what came first. Did you find CrossFit and start doing CrossFit and then fell in love with analyzing, or were you, like, just nerding out on all the games athletes and then started doing CrossFit and
No, so my parents told me in 2014, they were like, "Hey, you'd be really good at this. Like it's for people that are like your size." Cause I was always, I was pretty good at football, pretty good at basketball, but I'm, 5'10". I'm just, not very big, right? And
yeah, not for
I've
football.
yeah, I've always been really strong, but like for my size, right?
Right,
And
right.
and
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, this is perfect for you. Like big guys can't do it because they can't do the gymnastics, and little guys are too weak, right?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know." I was still like, I was a senior in college, and Rich Froning was, Michael Jordan at the time,
Right, yeah.
and I'm like, it's just I was very bro. I was very the typical bro who only cared about bench press. All I did was bench press 3 times a week, and then I played basketball on the other days, and I couldn't care less about CrossFit.
Right.
And then, but like I knew of it though. Like I watched. They told me to watch the games, and I watched the
Yeah,
games in
on
2014.
ESPN, you saw a couple
Hmm.
little clips
Yep.
of it. Yeah, that was us too. Yeah.
And then I tell you, like a game changer for me was I had just gotten engaged, and I was going to optometry school at the time in
Oh,
Eastern
wow.
Kentucky. And Eastern Kentucky is like hillbilly land, and we're in the mountains. Okay.
Okay.
And I was running some stairs, and my wife then fiance took a video of me running up these stairs, and I'm straight jiggly puff. Like I thought I looked good. I was feeling myself, and I was very chunky. And
Fluffy.
I never really thought about it until I watched the video, and then I was like, "Gosh, do I really look like this?" And my wife was like, "Yeah, babe, you're kind of fat," and just straight up like she's ruthless.
Honest,
That's
Yeah,
honest.
what wives do. Wives do that for you. That's
yeah,
exactly what they do. Yeah.
ruthless
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Am I really?" Like I like this whole time thought I was like awesome. And then I was like, well, maybe we should try to do CrossFit. Like maybe I should just try to get in shape. And then I went into a CrossFit gym, and there was these three 6-year-old women, like 60-plus-year-old women, just destroyed me
Destroying.
in a CrossFit workout. And I'm like, you gotta think a year out of college. Like I'm 24,
Oh,
just thinking I'm on top of the world. You know, all
prime
the
beef steak
testosterone in the
status.
world.
Yeah.
Mm.
And just like had a come to Jesus moment. Like, what the freak am I, man? I'm like just trash. And and then I tried to, and then I started nerding out. Started nerding out in the CrossFit games, like hard
You
nerding out.
went back, watched all the YouTube videos, all
Yeah,
the
like, and I mean, when I say nerding out, like, I mean, I just watched the documentaries as everybody did, and then watched
yeah.
Every Second Counts, and then
Mm.
went back and tried to find video of 2007, almost to see, like, really to make fun of them back then, but just I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
enjoyed learning about the history. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I did that with
Pretty
football and
cool.
basketball in high school too. Like, I loved nerding out on
So what
the
do you look
history.
does it look like you just like you have I envision a whole bunch of pads of paper with you just like
No,
or do you
no.
have like a photographic
Yes,
memory?
yes, I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Why
So
did
like,
that all guys have that? For whatever sport they're into, all guys have that.
I don't know if all guys have it or there'd be more people beating me out there. But
No.
anyway, no, if I see it either on YouTube or like if I'm watching it, it doesn't leave me. It's like an encyclopedia. I enjoy stats. I like stats, but
Do you just
I
have
would argue,
spreadsheets on your computer with
yeah, I'm not that guy. There's a lot of guys that are like that, and I'm not afraid of a spreadsheet. I'll spreadsheet it up, but like I don't. It's not my go-to. I don't like. There's more things to life than the computer. I make fun of Tyler quite often because he's computer guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, because
But
I just envision you at like a table with all these pens and post-it notes and whatnot, and your wife walking by going, John, what the hell are you doing? What is this? Does she nerd out on it with you too? Or is
no,
she like, I do not care about this at all?
no, she's crocheting her life away. She doesn't. She
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, no, she couldn't care less, which is good. I enjoy that. When the open comes around or when the game's coming around, I kind of like this is my life. Like every hour of the day is just thinking of freaking Laura Horvath splits on log press muscle up
That's what I'm
workouts.
saying. And you really don't have you don't have this all written out somewhere where you just look it up in the moment and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean I can tell you who's first through 10th in pretty much any event in every history. Just
Wow.
like from 2007 and on up. Like I can, and it just plays
okay,
like
this
a
is
movie in
cool.
my head.
Cool. All right. So 2020 games, the COVID games, Atlanta, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's a random one.
Yeah, because what do you think about when Matt won that event, right? And he
Mhm.
wasn't even trying. He was just hanging out with Tia, playing with his hat.
Sure. So
And
go ahead. You got a
no, yeah,
question for this?
well, the question was just, and then Tia was actually trying and got
Yeah. No, if you watch that, Matt finishes or Noah finishes his pistols before everybody.
right.
Like Noah pistols like a mug, and Matt couldn't care less in the world.
No,
Matt and Tia are
right.
doing 20 sets of pistols or sets of 20 on pistols, and then just drinking of water. 20 pistols, drinking water, and then and then Matt kind of catches up on pull ups, and then he's just waiting on Tia.
Right.
Like Tia's trying hard. Like Tia's doing her best. I mean, that kind of a workout, it's kind of weird because it's literally just who's the best at pull-ups.
It was Carrie Pearson. Didn't Haley beat her in that workout?
No, Carrie Pierce won.
Yeah, she won.
Carrie Price won. Yeah.
Katrin almost caught her on pull-ups. Katrin
Yeah.
looked
Oh,
a
that's
lot
right.
better on
That's
the
right.
pull-ups.
And Carrie had to run for her life.
Mhm.
She literally finished the pull-ups.
That's
and then,
right.
Kotler, right, was her
Yeah.
coach
Mhm.
and was like, you got to go. Like, I don't care how bad it hurts. Like, you got to go if you're going to win. And she sold her soul on that last run to.
I just thought it
win.
was amazing that Matt wasn't even freaking trying. He just did not.
That's how
Yeah.
much better he was than everybody though. Like I don't think people like when I talk about like Matt versus Rich, like people don't understand how good
Oh,
Matt is.
So we're gonna get there. But
Okay.
first of all, no, you have no idea. I've been nerding out all day too. So, but when did you first realize that it was becoming more of a passion for you and not so much just a hobby that you had fun with? And when did the light go off? You're like, hey, I'm going for this. I'm gonna do this.
As far as trying to be an analyst?
Yeah, like just going in there with Brian Friend and
It was
going.
yeah, it was really organic. I want to say like 2018. I was like, hey, I just DM'd Brian one day, and I was because he was, he's the OG
Did you
analyst.
even know him? Had you ever met him before? Did you even?
No, but he posted stuff on Instagram. He was the very first person to ever do that. He was the only person doing any type of analyst stuff, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, and I just DM'd him, and I don't know how many people were doing this at the time. We never really had that conversation, but I DM'd him and I was like, hey man, I like to nerd out on this stuff too. If you ever need any help, let me know. And I'm willing, I'm just trying, like, I'd like to do what you're doing because I like that stuff too. And then he kind of gave me like a spreadsheet to fill out or something. And I was quite frankly, I was trying to impress him at the time because I was like, all right, cool. And he gave me like this a spreadsheet to fill out, or like of games, people, heights, weights, and then like best finishes and stuff like that of like the 40 people that made the games. And I did the whole thing that night. Took me like 6 hours.
You were like,
And,
yeah, you were like, here, my man, I got this.
Yeah. And I like, he gave me this assignment, and I like had 2 Dr. Peppers, 3 caffeine pills, and I was ready to rock. Right.
Is your wife like, what are you doing right now? Or
no, she was all for it. She
okay.
was at this point, like she knows that she likes CrossFit too. She just doesn't nerd out on it like I do. And I was like, I really, want to impress this guy. He gave me this thing. I think I can like start doing this stuff. And she goes, are you going to make any money from it? I'm like, no.
Not even a little bit.
But it's going to be really cool for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like, and then I did that, and I was like done, and he was pretty impressed with that. And then like then he gave me something else to do, and then like the stuff that he would put articles out on, or the stuff he would talk about, like Talking Elite Fitness at the time, it's like stuff that I had given him that I had worked on, and I thought that was pretty cool. And
so then like you're interning, or he's the senior analyst.
If you want to call it an intern thing, for sure. And then he asked me, who do you think, or he made his rankings, and he goes, what do you think of this? And I'm like, bro, you're on crack if you think this person's going to do this. And he was like, you really think so? And then he told me to go ahead and make my own rankings. And then they're always different, but like not very different. They're really similar, but then just different on a couple names. We see different things in different people. And I think I got real lucky on the very first one, because mine was more accurate than his was, but we weren't against each other or anything. He just wanted to see what I had done. Yeah. And then I remember having a conversation with them. It was like, I was like, this person moves in this way. Like she will never get tired in squats. It doesn't matter what's up. The workout was a squat workout, but it had like handstand push-ups in it, and she wasn't great at handstand push-ups. And but it was like 20. Those were irrelevant. Like, and I was like, it's not going to hurt her the way you think it is.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I'm pretty positive I was just lucky. Like, that's just
that it worked out.
And it happened to happen that way. And then he was like, hey, let's do this rankings thing with Sevon. And then he introduced me to Sevon. And then
I was going to ask you how a nice, God-fearing church person ends up on Sevon's podcast, but I know him, so I love him, so I get it. But I like, some days you just kind of look like, what is happening to me right now? But it was so cool. It was an amazing. The ranking show was always so awesome.
Yeah. No. I had a ball too. Because I mean, I always wanted it. Like, I looked at it as me versus Brian. Like, I'm about to embarrass Brian right now, and like nobody knows who I am. Got to think, Brian's like
CrossFit famous.
He had like 5,000 followers. Like, I mean, he had established himself as like, he's the guy, and not that he's not the guy now, but he had established himself as he's the guy, and nobody knew who I was. They're like, who is this dude? Looks like Sloth from the Goonies. And I got told that a million times. And I'm like, just wait.
Wait.
Let's just see who's right. Like that was my whole thing. Like let's just see who's right. And
how did the first show go? How nervous were you the first show that like you went on?
With me versus Brian, I wasn't nervous at all because we had conversations a whole bunch. I had been helping him for a while, and I wasn't nervous at all. I just said, I probably wasn't as blunt as I am now, but I gave my picks. I believe in my picks. I believe that I can pick the games better than anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. The games. We talk about semifinals, people. He knows more than I do. He knows those people that don't matter more than I do.
Savage.
But when it comes to like the games and who's going to win what and what events, like I believe in myself more than anybody. And then, so I wasn't nervous, me versus Brian. And I'm not, it's always every single year, every big competition we'd ever do, he would win by a little bit or I would win by a little bit. It was never
a big.
Yeah, it was never dominating, but I was the only person that could make picks similar to him. Like that it ended up, we were very neck and neck.
Yeah. What about
everybody else? Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, what about when you started going on like Chase Ingram and Bill Grundler, or like doing Pedro's podcast? Or was there any jitters anywhere in there? You were just chill, right? I was having heart attacks. I had a heart attack when I thought I had the wrong time for this podcast with you tonight. Like,
yeah, you do enough of them. You don't get nervous anymore. I was very nervous on my first podcast without Brian because he was very like, I knew he would hold my hand if I didn't know what to say. And like this was like 2 years ago. Right. And then, cause like, if I didn't know something, I knew he would be able to change the conversation or know it. Right. Yeah. And, my very first podcast without him, because it wasn't me versus him. This was just my first podcast with Sevon.
Okay.
And Sevon was comfortable enough to have me on, but like, he didn't know how I was going to,
Right.
And then like 5 minutes before the podcast, he goes, "Oh, by the way, Haley Adams is going to be on." Or like it was the day before. I didn't have a lot of notes. I don't know how much notice it was, but it wasn't a lot. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, Haley Adams is going to be on. This is the Haley Adams podcast."
Oh, so he's like, throwing you into the fire like, immediately.
Cool. And I'm just trying to play it cool as a cucumber. And then Haley pops on, and I've never talked to anybody that's like any CrossFitter, right? And I'm like, "Hey, Haley, like, what's going on, girl?" just
voice cracking and everything.
Yeah.
High pitching. Yep.
And just trying to be cool. And like, luckily, she was very shy too. She's 20 or however old she was.
Yeah, she was young. Yeah.
And it went fine. Like, Sevon, I think Sevon's the best podcaster in the world as far as.
Yeah, for sure. He can make anybody feel comfortable or it just, there's no.
And it doesn't feel like there's pressure. Like whenever you were on his podcast, like, did you ever feel like there was pressure from him? Like, oh my God, I have to do it just right because it's his podcast or anything like that?
No, I mean, like, I just really stuck in my lane. Like if we talked about the games or we talked about working out, then, I know what to say. Like I have all the numbers in my head. I have how to analyze workouts. Like, you get good at that stuff. And that's what I do. Right. So like, or I know where the crux of a workout's going to be. That's not hard for me to know or talk about those things. But, like, and then when he got on stuff that wasn't CrossFit, I just didn't talk. Like that's he can roll with however he wants to roll. I'll speak when I'm called upon. I got no problem doing that.
How did the Barbell Spin come about? How did that podcast come about? Because you guys are great.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
You're freaking funny.
I know. I think I don't know. Brian came on at Wadapalooza. I want to say a year ago, and I had no idea who he was. I was doing me and Sevon. I was just on Sevon's show whenever he wanted me, and then Spin was like the very first one to break everything at Wadapalooza, and I was like, how is he doing this? Like it just felt like he was everywhere all at once.
Yes, thank you. I'm always nervous too. I've called in like 3 times and it's always so nerve-wracking. And John's just like, "Yeah, I'm good. I won't talk if I'm not
not
I'm
spoken to."
good." Like that's fire. But go ahead. Sorry, Wadapalooza.
Yeah. And then
Big
I
thing.
don't know if Spin reached out or Sevon set it up. I really, or maybe Tyler made it. I don't remember how the first show started, but maybe we were just guests and then, or talking about Tyler's app, or I'm not. I really don't remember. Maybe Spin knows, but and then we just had amazing chemistry. Like Spin is a great moderator. I think he, I can go on rant sometimes and I don't really realize it. And he just kind of lets me go until he's ready to shut it down. And I think, and Tyler is really, really good to just, pick fights with, and he picks fights with me. And he's a very, he has
He goes
his,
hard on you sometimes, like, he'll get you.
oh no, he needs it. He needs it. His ego needs all the help it can get. But the chemistry was really, really good. And I knew Tyler had the Heat one app. It was lawn chair leaderboarding at the time,
Yeah,
but he
I
was
remember.
trying to make fantasy happen with CrossFit. And I'm not with that company at all, but I
Mhm.
wish I was, because I knew that was going to blow up. I don't know when or how, or when it will be profitable or when they'll start gambling, but I know that thing is
Are you
going to
gonna make
blow
the
up.
odds when they start gambling? You should pick the odds for the things when not the prop bets or anything, but like or
Oh,
maybe
I hope so. I hope he lets me have my own little, this is what John says thing.
yeah, the
But
odds show that would be I'd
Mhm.
be like, "Oh, John gave it 5-1 on this." Like, I'm
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah, I that would be awesome. But I know that thing's gonna blow up, and I knew, that's Tyler's thing, and I let that be Tyler's thing. I don't try to mess with it because I mean it's his baby. And
That's so cool, yeah.
but then we just had really good chemistry, and then it just took off from there.
You guys are doing, the burpee, uh, isn't it the
Mm-hmm.
what is it? It's
100 bar
all
facing
I can
burpees
think
for time.
about yeah, and it's, Jake is the guy from Training Think Tank, right?
Yep,
Jake
Jake
Berman?
Berman.
Yeah, and, good old Colton Mertens.
Mm-hmm.
So who you got on that?
I don't know. Sevon's got the fittest little
Tim
person in the
Murray.
world doing
Yeah,
it
Tim
too. And
Murray. That's
Tim Murray looked really fast on the burpees that I saw him do. I can't pick against Colton.
yeah.
Colton, I love Colton. He's
We all do. We
yeah,
all love Colton.
and Colton, he's kind of came out of his shell lately.
Some
And
of
I
those
mean,
Instagram posts are
He
yeah,
was
they're
talking
fire.
shit on Coffee Pods and
The Wads,
Wads.
yeah,
Like he
I'm all
was having
for it.
opinions
it
and
was great.
going, and he's like, I didn't realize that you were gonna come on here and just rip apart my show. It's cool, but like I mean Colin's definitely gotten a voice since he's been in
Yeah,
the spotlight a little bit more.
I
And you guys
love. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No. Go.
I love when Peter is thrown for a loop, because there's this moment of silence, and he's usually so snappy with comebacks. He's very, very quick witted, and he's so funny. And then when somebody gets him and he doesn't know what to say, it is the greatest moment of all time. It's like making JR smile. It's so funny.
Okay. Seymour Beaver, how do you feel about Hiller backing Will Leahy?
I I love it. I mean, Will Leahy, I met him at the Fitness Experience. He's one of the nicest guys out there. And Will Leahy, I quite frankly, that's a great guy that had a lot of that just wasn't the smartest at the time. If that makes any kind of
Yeah,
sense? He's got so much ability, and I think he's got an outside shot at making the games this year. I don't think he's going to win the games like Hiller says, but at least not yet. He's got, he can improve. He's very young, but I think Will Leahy is an amazing person, and I hope people start backing him the way Hiller has.
that's awesome. Well, didn't he get him like an extra 50 something thousand followers on his Instagram or
I don't know.
something?
I don't keep track of that nonsense. That's all him.
That's the Hiller effect that everybody keeps talking about. It's pretty insane. It's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
But yeah, back to the burpee. Are you gonna be on the one with Tim Murray? Are you just gonna jump off that podcast and jump on the next one?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. It depends when he's going. I'll be honest with y'all. There's not a real organization to it. Sevon just kind of goes, "Hey, do you want to be on this?" And then 3 minutes we go, and that's it. And that's
It-
how most the time is.
Oh, he'll just like, oh, okay. There's no real actual schedule or whatever.
Nope.
Yeah, I got time. I can do this. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, like the big shows we schedule, Get With the Programming is always scheduled with Chase and Bill. But like though these ones that are like one after the other, like just kind of like, especially during the games, like there's no schedule at all. It's like, hey, 5 minutes, who can come?
Yeah.
And then that's
How
it.
long did it take you to get used to that?
Day
Nothing.
one.
I love it. The confidence is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I was gonna ask you, are you a type of person that likes that kind of just like, hey, 5 minutes, show up, or are you a planner and you like things planned out, or is it a nice mix? Like you were saying, like Get With the Program, you have a schedule. Big shows, you have a schedule. That's a little bit helpful. But then these random ones, like which one do you prefer, scheduled or planned?
I think when big things are coming up, like semifinals or the games or Rogue, like I just know I need to be available at all times during this time.
Yeah.
And like my wife knows that, and like I'm like, I don't plan anything for that time. And like if sometimes I'm at the gym, and like then I'll be like, give me 10 minutes, and then I'm there. But like, I need that 10 minutes. And then any other time, they're usually I'm not busy. Like I wake up at 5:30, I go to the gym until 10, and then I usually take a nap unless somebody wants me on their podcast in the middle of the day. And then I wake up, I eat, and then I go back to the gym at 3, and I leave at 7. That 3 to 7 and that 6 to 10, there's not a lot of stuff going on.
No.
You know what I mean? At least for podcasting time. So like I'm always just kind of available. And then on Wednesdays, I know Wednesdays we have a scheduled 6:30 on the Spin Show.
Are you flying out to any of the events this year? Are you going to the Carson one or for the semifinals?
For semifinals? Probably not on semifinals. I thought about going to Spartanburg for quarterfinals and being like the undercard to Taylor versus the World. Me and Bryson could go at it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I feel like we're going to do a lot of shows, and me and Sevon talked about it, and it would probably be easier if I was home. Yeah, I gotta like the quarterfinals. I have to set it up for my own gym. I have like 10 people that I train, and then that I think through all the game plans and all that stuff, and then I have to do the workouts myself too, and I would like to do good, and then I need to do all the podcasts for the quarterfinals. So it's probably easier if I'm home for that, but I'll be at the games.
Right.
Thinking about going to Rogue.
Can you walk around when you're at those events? Like, do you get noticed? Yeah. Do people are people like, hey, that's John Young? Hey, that's John Young. I would freak out if I saw you.
I would say 1 out of every 20 people.
What about just in your hometown? Do people?
Nobody knows who I am.
Go CrossFit junkies in your.
No, there's actually a guy that I'm really good friends with. His name's Scott. He was like, hey, my brother said that you were on a podcast. I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, yeah, man. I don't broadcast it. I really like I coach a lot of these people like very like we have like personal relationships with each other. Like I don't care to make those worlds combine, if that makes sense. Like I have my gym life, and then I have my podcast world.
Yeah.
And then the games kind of melds the two. And then like people that I'm close with don't really know
what's happening.
Going on. Yeah. And I don't really think I'm that big time anyway.
Oh, you're CrossFit famous for sure. Can John confirm or deny if Spin podcasts from an apartment complex is business center or not?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. An apartment complex business center.
I think he's home most of the time during the podcast. When he's writing his articles, I don't know where he's at.
And then Judy Reed. Did he know he made it when all the YouTube profiles popped up? Black John Young. Oh, when that personality Black John Young popped up.
I don't know. I really
made
don't
it.
know.
You were YouTube famous at that moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I wouldn't categorize made it unless like it's my primary income.
Source of income.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not. So like, and I don't plan on it being that. If it grows to that, awesome. I feel very blessed that people care what I have to say, and it amazes me. I feel very blessed that people want to argue with me, and I love CrossFit and the fact that people like Patrick Melner know who I am and know my name, even if they get upset by some of the stuff that I say. Like
I know
I'm
that's
on
your
cloud
favorite.
nine.
Yes.
I got some of the fittest people in the world in my phone, and like that's good enough for me. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like I'm living the dream, and of course, like I would love to make the games one day, but if that doesn't happen, I'm living the dream, trying to do whatever I'm doing right now.
Judy Reed, wait, I missed it. Are you a full-time coach? No, you said you just had a couple where you have some clients or
Yeah, no, I'm pretty. I kind of manage. I'm kind of my gym's manager. Like I'm on
Okay.
payroll at my gym, and then I one-on-one train like 15 people. Like I have JY Barbell Club,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
um, I like the people at the gym. Like it's everything. It's I'm their CrossFit coach, and then I have like about 7 or 8 outside people.
I just saw you hit 385. Was it clean?
That was a long time ago.
Is that a long time ago?
Yeah, that's just
You don't post on
that's a pinned post.
Oh, like, dude, your arms are jacked. Are your arms still that? Did
I'm
you
probably I don't no, I'm the same size as I was then. Yeah.
really? Okay, because
Mhm.
I was like, hey, your arms are like they're huge.
I'm the exact height and weight of Rich Froning. So if you've ever seen Rich Froning in real life, like I'm
5'10",
about
190.
yeah, well I'm 200, so maybe I'm like
Okay.
a little bit bigger, but that's what I look like body wise.
That all right. So let's go to the GOAT conversation because I've
Okay.
always. But who do you have first before I actually ask the question I want to ask?
Matt Fraser.
Matt Fraser.
Yes, man. Yes. Yes.
So I would love to know, do you ever take into like when you decide who the GOAT's going to be, does what footprint they've left on the sport count? Because if I was going Michael Jordan or LeBron James, I will go Michael Jordan 100% of the time. But
He
he
left a
has
bigger imprint on the game. Is that why?
that's why I think.
Okay.
I don't I was just curious if you think the number of wins or it only matters about gold medals, wins, first losses.
No, I care about who the fittest person is. And Matt Fraser, I think Matt Fraser in 2020 is the fittest individual that's ever been on this planet. And I don't think anybody has ever been. I don't think anybody's close. If you watch Tia and him do the same workouts, and like you can argue Tia would be the only argument, right? In my opinion. I mean, we can go through the Rich thing if you want, but if you watch Tia, if there is so many workouts, because Tia trained with Matt, there's so many workouts where Tia and Matt are doing the same workout. Matt wins. Matt's a little bit better.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, could you put even Tia there? Just even talking about Atalanta, she was actually trying to beat all the women and didn't. He wasn't even trying
Mm-hmm. I
and
mean,
beat all the men.
Tia's claim and Tia's claim is that she's won more than everybody, right? And that's an awesome claim.
Yeah.
Like she has the most first place out of everybody. She'll probably get 7. She'll probably come back after having a baby and still be the fittest woman in the world. And I mean, everybody's going to say she's the fittest person ever, right? Because her accomplishments.
But she was never fitter than Matt, though.
You're right, but like her
Ever.
accomplishments are. It's like the Tom
Yeah,
Brady
so then
versus
right,
Patrick
where do you
Mahomes.
go? Because Michael Jordan's got less rings than a lot of other people, but and LeBron has way more of the records, like the points, the rebounds, the assists, or whatever. But Michael Jordan's just the GOAT because he made basketball what basketball is. People started being like him to play basketball, to play the game. That's the only thing that whenever I argue with you, like in my armchair of my house while you're on screen, not knowing who I am, that's always my argument to the television screen.
Okay, and that would be for Rich.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: Do you think Rich or Tia should
out
be more argued versus Matt?
Richard, Tia more argued versus Matt.
Or do you think they're all three in the argument?
I kind of, you're putting me on the spot, but I'm kind of going to say Tia's not. She's never beaten either one of them at anything. She has more rings. So if you want to go down that road, she's got more rings.
I think if we had a whole bunch of workouts and lined up Tia versus Rich, Tia would win more than Rich would.
Really? Like competition, Rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, what makes you think Rich would be in the running?
This is the greatest day of my life, by the way. I'm arguing with
go like let me know. Let me hear your opinion. Give me a workout that Rich did that makes you think, oh, he would beat everybody or he would beat Tia.
Oh man, what was the you're making me go back into the teens, bro. What's the one where he like walked? It was
21:15.9 where he was in the third heat and then he beat everybody, right? And it was dominating fashion. Yeah, I've beaten that time.
Okay,
and I'm nobody.
Wow, but that was what, 2014?
That's my point, though. Is that sure, Rich is awesome. He is. He should be in the argument. He's had the most imprint on CrossFit than anybody. He's done the most for CrossFit than anybody has.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
And if that is why you want to say he is your GOAT, cool. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. But I can beat some of his times in 2014. Right?
Yeah.
Now show me somebody who can beat Friendly Fran, Matt Fraser.
Okay.
Nobody's close. Right?
Well, yeah. Okay, fine.
You know, and show me somebody who can clean and jerk 270, the similar or whatever the women's weight or women's and men's weights. We can do that math. Yeah. And then run the 5K that Tia's running or do all the endurance stuff that Tia's doing.
Yeah.
There's not anybody except Matt.
Right.
Like my point for where like Rich for me is not the guy or the GOAT is that there are so many people that can do everything that Rich can do fitness wise. I think the fittest Patrick Vellner is fitter than the fittest Rich Froning. But Patrick Vellner has never won anything. And in the games, so calm down if somebody shows this to Pat, because Pat got butthurt about something I said, and that hurt my feelings. My shoes are Vellner's shoes, and he doesn't like me. It kills me.
And I'm a big Patrick Vellner fan too.
She cries every year.
It's tough to be a Vellner fan.
Every year.
She cries
every year. I yell more at the TV when the games are on because of him. I'm like, oh God.
Now, if you want to argue who's done the most for the sport, or that's who's had the most imprint, or whatever, who's the nicest person out of the three, like I have no problem with you being like, that's why Rich is my GOAT. But as long as you know he is not as fit as Matt Fraser's peak. His peak is not as fit as Matt Fraser's peak.
Okay.
And I'm cool with that. Like that's totally fine.
So you can't put into the argument about Rich's last year saying that he is the only one that's ever beaten Matt. That doesn't come into the conversation.
Oh yeah, he's beaten Matt when Matt was eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's every single night going to bed in college.
Mm-hmm.
Not even knowing
who
Shaw's name was. Like you're absolutely right. Rich beat that Matt Fraser.
Yeah.
I can't argue that. You're 100% right.
Listen, at least you got it. You're right. He was just like, if you
like,
feel
nah, girl,
this way, I'm
gonna tell you
fine
how
with
I
that.
feel.
2016 Matt Non was untouchable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you kind of knew it again when you saw him come off that trail run and he finished it and just walked around like he didn't even kind of do anything. You just kind of knew it was like, okay, he's going to win this year. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that was fun. I had to get that out of my system. I've always wanted to do that. I got smacked around by John Young. It was fun.
No.
John, that is BS. Matt has created that story to justify getting a pounding. Oh, the Ben & Jerry's story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rich beat Matt his first year at the games, his rookie year. Like, there's so many ways. Matt, look at Matt in 333, how slow he was running. I know Rich was walking slower, but look at how Matt wasn't Matt before in 2014. You know, he just wasn't. He was so raw. It was his rookie, him not even knowing what, like, him having the knowledge of a
Oh yeah,
second year
fair.
CrossFit
Get him,
person.
Wad Zombie. Thanks for helping out. I remember this too. Stop clicking the button, babe.
I'm trying to
Go
help.
ahead,
Sorry.
pull it up.
Sorry.
So we're both clicking at the same
I'm
time.
trying to help.
Rich,
Well, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. But this is my point. And Justin Medeiros eats a bowl of cereal before he goes to sleep every night. Listen. Elite athletes need carbs. It's not the end. It's not the end all. What I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Matt was training 2 hours a day, one training session a day, going to college, like not knowing what he's doing, just doing things that he thinks he's supposed to be doing. First year, rookie year, yes, Rich was fitter than that version of Matt Fraser. He was probably fitter than 2015 Matt Fraser. 2016 and on, Rich has never touched that peak of fitness ever.
all right, yeah, fair, fine.
And there's no workout that you can point to that would prove that wrong.
But then I would still say that Tia is not. I don't think Tia beats Matt then. Like if you can't put Froning in that, then you can't beat Tia. You can't put Tia in there because do you think Tia beats him in workouts? Matt Fraser in workouts? I don't.
No, I would agree. Agree.
Okay.
But that's just, she's the only person
She's
that can
got more
argue
rings.
because she's won more than anybody else.
Okay. Fair.
So then do you have the argument that Matt Fraser is the most dominant in CrossFit? Right now, the narrative is that Tia is the most dominant in CrossFit. How do you answer
that? I think Matt and Tia are probably equally dominant as far as male to male and woman to woman. My only argument there would be that there are way more good males than there are good females. And it's not entirely the women's fault, but they're like, you have about 6 or 7 women, and then there is a huge tier drop between like talent or ability, like a huge tier drop, where men, like, I mean, the 30th man is fitter than the 14th woman. Like, it's just like, and it's not, you know what I'm saying? There's just more. There's more that Matt is dominating, and then Tia is dominating. That's my answer to that. But if you want to call them equally dominant, that's totally fine.
All right, man. I appreciate this. It's like my greatest day of my life ever. We're not one of those podcasts that's going on for like 4 hours and 20 minutes, guys. You know this. So if you got questions for him right now, go for it, because I'm not keeping this man like this on Easter.
Oh, I got all night. Y'all are good to go. Whenever y'all want to leave, I'm good.
But if anybody, or what is this?
I'm used to Sevon, so like it's.
I was gonna say
like hours and hours and hours.
Yeah,
they just did that 4 hour 20-minute long show. They were going for the world record, but if this were in prehistoric era, Rich would kill animals and Matt picked berries. Ouch.
That's a cool opinion, Nick.
Savage. Savage. Ever think about doing your own kind of like a show spinoff on Sevons, or like the way they do Shut Up and Scribble, or a spinoff on Spins or something? I
don't know. I got a couple people asked me if I'd be interested in doing a podcast by myself, but I'm not very tech savvy. And as far as like setting things up, I mean, you all know how it is. And I don't like being that guy that like bothers people to come on their podcast, or like athletes. Like, I would feel so terrible. Hey man, can you come on my podcast? Like, and I love it, but I don't want to be that person that does that. Does that make sense?
It has to reach out.
Yeah.
Yes. I hate that. I hate being the person that reaches out. I don't know. I'm just not a.
It's nerve-wracking. When I asked you the other night and then you answered me, I was like, you're like, what time? And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think I was going to get that far. I didn't
it's not nerve-wracking at all. It's just, I don't want to be the person that bothers them in their training. You know what I mean? Right. I know. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's not a slight to podcast people. It's just, I don't like being that person that asked that question. and then I'd have to set everything up, and I know I'd mess things up. I'm terrible with technology. And right now,
I shut my whole podcast off the other night because I tried to back out of the room, but it was my computer that was that was running the show that night. So when I took myself out, I just kind of turned all the sound off and like whatever.
yeah, no, it's a lot. And I don't have a Will Brandstetter to help me out. Like,
Right.
I'm not, so right now I have it where there's like, 3 or 4 people who like to have me on, and all I do is click a link and then I'm in, and I just talk, and
That
that's
is
it.
part.
I like that job. That's my job too.
That's her job. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool setup, right? So
Yeah.
it just depends how much work is involved. I also wouldn't want to step on any of the toes of the other guys, because I mean, I'm so grateful that I'm just even a part of the group.
Yeah. It is pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's just how I feel.
Does he know what athlete threatened to leave Underdog, leading to Danielle Brandon being dismissed from the team?
It was a few people. It wasn't just one.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Kenneth the Lab, John Young, when you make cereal, oh shoot, we keep doing it.
I don't drink milk. People, it's funny because I drink so much milk all the time. I don't drink milk with my cereal. I just eat dry cereal.
Dry cereal? What cereal do you
That's
eat?
favorite cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, I have I go through waves. I go back and forth between Cocoa Pebbles and Lucky Charms, and usually it lasts for a month or 2, and then I switch to the other one.
That's Lucky Charms is the best. Do you have a training partner when because you're kind of training to make the games or semifinals, right? In a couple do you have training partners, or you train alone like Vellner in a dark room somewhere? So
do I have a person that's kind of my level training with?
Yeah,
no, I don't have a training partner like that. But there is this group of girls who makes things fun. They're so the first people I ever one-on-one trained, there's 5 of them. 5 of these women who are 38 to 42-year-old moms, all of them. And we just have this little group, and they're crazy. I bury their heads in the wall. I destroy these women on a daily basis, and they just keep coming day after day, wanting to get better.
You destroy them with the workouts, the programming.
Yes, Garrett. What else? What do you think I'm talking about? Good grief!
I was
again.
I was not going there. I meant, do you just beat them by 10 minutes and sit there and laugh at them for 10 minutes? I didn't mean.
No, I know. I challenged them.
You're the one that's been on the Sevon podcast too much. I wasn't going there, bro.
No. They just want to get better, and it's awesome.
That's cool.
And I love them for it. And they. All 5 of them got their first bar muscle up this year. And
that's cool.
And we do Olympic lifting meets, and they're they're my 5 girls that go to the Olympic lifting meets. I would love to there's a couple guys that are in the morning too, but they're too shy to put a singlet on. So I'm trying to get them in the Olympic meet type of deal, but it's nerve-wracking if you've never done one. They're fun to do.
You do them too as well?
No, I did them a long time ago. I don't do them now.
Oh, okay. Is that your fun thing, is to help people with the Olympic lifts? That's your favorite?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I would say CrossFit in general. I'm just better at Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of he knows what he's talking about, because I'm really good at it. Right. It's where if I'm trying to help people with ring muscle ups, I'm not Noah Olson. Right. And Olympic lifting, I am. So there's a little, I would say that's why people ask me for strength training, but I train people in everything. I got a girl who's her name's Alyssa. She should go to the games this year as a master.
Oh, cool.
And I'm really excited to see her, because she's improved a lot with her strength. That was her biggest weakness, was just being weak in general. And I'm excited to see her. So no, I train people in all types of things. My favorite stuff is ironically probably the cardio stuff, but that's just because that's kind of
really
what I'm doing the most of.
So is it true? Do you do cardio every day?
A lot of days.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking for the chat. That was something that
Yeah.
they really wanted to know. That rumor has it is that John Young does cardio every day.
I mean, I a lot of day. I'll say if I haven't done any cardio, I'll probably just do a 40-minute bike. I'll put an episode of Narcos on, and I'm in a Narcos kick right now. I'll just
Yeah.
find some random show, and then I'll just bike erg it during that show, and then that's an hour of zone 2. And like if I haven't done anything, I'll probably do that just because I get antsy. Because I'm so trash, and I'm trying to be less trash at cardio, but it's my body doesn't like it. It
It
likes
does
to get
not. Yeah,
jealous.
big bodies like to lift big things. There's not they don't.
So you do your own personal program for your one-on-one athletes.
Yes,
Do
yes.
you do the program for the gym that you work at too?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that something that you always wanted to do? Was not just coach, but create your own programming too?
Oh, not really. That just kind of happened.
Mm.
Like a lot of stuff. I did not have like I want to get to this, and this. Like it just all kind of happened organically, and I will say no to things that I am not interested in, and then the things I say yes to, like I put my whole heart into it. Like I love doing it. I didn't know I would love programming, but I did think I would. It's funny. People on here are gonna get a crack at this. My gym used to do mayhem programming, and I know everybody thinks I'm a mayhem hater, and I'm not. But
That was also confirmed in the
Yeah,
chat.
that
by
was
the way.
yeah.
my gym said they'd pay me. They would pay me a little bit more to do the programming for the gym. Like for sure. And then me and another guy kind of trade off weeks.
Yeah, you said you were going to school to be an optometrist.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of a story.
That didn't work out.
It's not a long story, but so my wife was in school to be a pharmacist, and I was going to be an optometrist. I graduated college when she graduated pharmacy school. Okay. She always wanted to be a hospital pharmacist, right? Like not a CVS kind of person, but a hospital pharmacist. That's her dream. And I wanted to be an optometrist just because I thought I could do it, and it was made of money, and
Really?
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't have a
Money
huge
part's
passion
great,
for it, but I just they made good money, and I thought I could do it. And then so I went to optometry school, and then but the optometry school that I got into was in Eastern Kentucky, like I said before, and my wife just hated it, like so bad. Like where are you guys from?
New York.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all don't know then.
I know what the country
It's
is,
hillbilly
but
world.
I know what hillbilly word. Yeah, I've been before. I drove cross country. I saw it. I mean,
Okay.
I waved at it, but I didn't like stay around.
Anyway, it was Pikeville, Kentucky, for anybody that like randomly would know where that is. I know Tyler knew where that was, so that threw me for a loop. But and then there was no hospital jobs, none, like at all. It was, and apparently it's really, really difficult to go from a retail pharmacist to a hospital pharmacist. Like hospitals won't take you because they want you to do a residency right out of school and all this stuff. And then it's not hard to go the other way around. It's just hard to do it the way that was. And there was nothing available for her. And then she thought if she just worked as a pharmacist that she could get her foot in the door somewhere, like in the hospital, because there was only one hospital for 20 miles. And that did not happen. And then after a year, she started applying for residencies, and then she got into the only one she got into. And I really think like God had a hand in this, but the only one she got into was in Missouri, where we are originally from, but it was 9 hours away. So then we had a decision. I could finish optometry school, and we would be 3 years apart, 9 hours, 1 year, year into marriage.
Nope.
Or I kind of uproot my career, and then we figure out what I'm going to do next, right? And then and then she can go do what she wanted to do. And so she did that residency, and then we moved back to Missouri, and then I went to nursing school. And
That's cool. I could totally see you as a nurse.
Yeah, well, Anyway, I went to nursing school, and then she got through residency. And the job she has now, like in Texas, is why I moved here, because she got a job in Texas. She loves it. Like, it's
I would love
everything
to
she
get
wanted to
Texas.
do, which is great. And I honestly am very happy we made that decision. I know it's like I'm kind of in no man's land, but and we made a decision. I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but if you're cool with it, like, we'll go do this.
Mhm.
And then that's what we did. And then I graduated nursing school, and then moved to Texas, and then all this CrossFit stuff started happening, and then my NCLEX kind of got prolonged a little bit, and now I still haven't taken it. So
Oh
I've
wow,
I've graduated nursing school, but I just
it's not
haven't taken the
use it.
NCLEX.
Yeah,
And now I'm at the point where I have to restudy to take it.
everything. Yeah.
No, I just got to read a book,
Oh,
but
okay.
but uh
Is it not looking like
I
you
haven't I
want
haven't
to?
taken it. No, no, and I know I need to. I need to find the time to do it. It's just it's been prolonged enough. I haven't done it yet. So, but quite frankly, with my one-on-ones and my gym's been really great. I use Iron Antler Fitness. It's in Falls Texas. They've been amazing, and like where the money I'm making right now with everything that I do is enough that my wife is very happy. Like, we're
Yeah.
happy with where we're at, and I'd like to grow that a little bit more. But if I can make that, right now we're good. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need to be a nurse. So
That's
that's
awesome. That's all you
probably
need.
what's going to happen until something bad happens. But
Yes,
yeah,
don't say that. Don't say
Or
that.
us or
Or
the next.
babies.
not yet.
Not talking
Uh,
about it yet.
yeah,
Right?
no. They're coming, just not yet.
Okay,
They're
that's cool.
uh, but not like we're happy with what we have and what I'm doing, and hopefully I can do that for the rest of my life. Like, I'm currently okay, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Uh,
that's great because it seems like that, you guys have a great system where it's like her job does what it does, you do what you do, but you guys still had that time together and it just seems to work out. Like, was it always easy for you guys with a schedule like that? Like, especially with her work schedule where she's gone, like working all the time, and then your busy schedule around the games. Like, how were you guys able to kind of navigate that? Or did it kind of organically just you knew, she knew, and it just kind of worked together?
so I'll say, before I kind of got real deep into the CrossFit world, like as far as me being an analyst and everything, we did fight about it, because I was like, okay, well, I'll have kind of a gap year. I'm just gonna, and then that's actually when I decided to try to, go to the CrossFit games, as funny as that is. But I was like, I'm gonna give myself 5 years. I'm gonna give myself 5 years, and then just see if I can get fit enough to do that, right? But I'll have a year where I don't do anything, so I can train like freaking Rich Froning, right? And then newsflash, when you're not that fit, you can't do that. But that was my thought process at the time, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm really bad at running. I'm just gonna run a 5K every day until I'm good at running.
Good at running.
Oh
And
boy.
then I tried to do that. And that wasn't a great idea. I
No.
just
I was like,
was
just your
really bad.
knees,
Uh,
right? Your
my ankles,
oh, your
actually
ankles?
were the
Oh,
things that broke down, not my knees. But
Mm.
anyway, regardless, like we had fights about that, but as once I went to nursing school, it was all for a bigger plan, right? And so, the thought process was I was going to be a nurse, and then everything be, we're good to go. But then I started, a lot of opportunity opened up for me here for just training people, and podcasting, and like everything we want to do, I get to go to for free because of this. Like, the games I get to go to for free, like Sevon and Spin take care of me with that type of stuff.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
So like I know I'm what's funny is I tell people all the time, like, I have so much education that I don't use at all. Like,
Isn't that crazy? Do you have any debt from that? Are you like sitting on?
we're almost out. We're almost out.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. You didn't go to one of those crazy colleges that was like $30,000 a month.
Oh no, we definitely did, but
Oh,
we're doing good. We're doing good. We're
But
both very frugal
we're
people.
moving past that. It's cool.
Yeah, we're both very frugal people. And well, I would say I'm pretty cheap. My wife is very frugal, and I'm very cheap. I don't want anything. I never want to go anywhere. I never want to do anything.
Yeah.
So
What's the most
yeah.
you do? Like take her to dinner? Like you guys go on date night?
Oh,
or
we go to
something?
Cracker Barrel every now and again. That's our spot. That's our
I love it.
our
That's
hot
amazing.
spot. We love it.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. That's it. We don't do anything else. We spend money on CrossFit shoes, and that's like pretty much it. Like,
Mhm.
and whatever the kid needs. So I get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, man. I appreciate you. This was so fun. Haven't been able to nerd out like this, and I managed to get my bucket list was getting smacked around by John Young in a goat debate. So
conversation.
that was I can hit.
Well, you need to have more confidence in yourself. You'd be like, I'm gonna rip John Young up in this
I mean,
debate
I
right
had
now.
it.
I'm gonna make him look bad for coming on my podcast.
No,
He'll never want to come on this podcast again. That's
yeah, you put a little bass in your voice, and I sat right back down. It was not a problem. I was not. Nope. There is a difference between men and women, and when the testosterone rises,
Don't-
sit my ass right here. Thanks.
Don't worry. Like he said, give yourself some more credit, more practice, and she'll be like, yo, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
I just
I
have
got
to
another
yell at
one.
you on your episodes more often. Like, you know how you yell at the football games and you coach football games. I just have to yell at you on some of your episodes more while, you know.
yeah. When you're losing an argument, just start yelling. If you can yell over somebody, like
That's
they'll
it.
either lose confidence or they'll yell right back, and then you have to admit defeat in that moment. But sometimes you can win stuff you have no business winning.
Have you ever had one of those? Did you ever get one?
Well, I don't know, like win an argument. I think
Just by yelling. Like, have you ever
oh.
been yelling at Tyler or Taylor or any of them? Any of the boys?
Probably Tyler on some. Honestly, probably Brian Friend on a couple.
Yep.
But I try not to have arguments that I don't have knowledge about.
Yeah.
For instance, like I will always, like, if we're talking about drugs or we're talking about movement, I will refer to Hiller. I'll like, listen, he knows more than I do, right? Yeah. Or if we talk about programming, like I'll bet Taylor, JR, Chase and Bill, they know more than I do. I'm not gonna act like I know more than them. If they want my opinion, I'll give it. And then if we're talking about picking people to win events or win the games, like I might not know who's gonna win, but I'll just say it as confidently as I can.
Oh yeah.
And then usually everybody just follows. It's really great. And then on a rare occasion, somebody will fight me, and then if they win, they win. It's hats off to them. Will Brandstetter's been killing me on Heat 1 lately, so I gotta get it in gear.
How did you I don't think we heard, how did you get in contact with Chase and Bill? Was it kind of the same way? You just kind of organically like had a conversation, or we're all on a Savon podcast together, and then you were invited to go on theirs? How did that work?
Yeah, with their whole like the leaderboard and then like all that, with their way of getting the right people to the games, which should be the way. But that, I mean, we're in the text thread together, like they're, and so like they asked me and I was like, sure. But the original time that I was on their podcast was a greatest event of all time. I don't know if you can.
Oh yes, yeah. I did see that.
Or greatest games moments or something, like it was something like that.
Event. They had a couple of those.
It might have been events or moments, but I approached them with that. I was like, hey guys, I have all these moments. If you want to do a March Madness bracket style, because they had done that with different something different, and I was like, this would be way better, guys. Like, would you be interested in this? And originally, I think I asked those two, and then Tommy and Sean from Talking Elite Fitness, and like we could have like a big, like mega show, and then and hopefully I can be on the show too. That's I think that's how I like approached them. And then Chase and Bill were all about it. Tommy and Sean weren't, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then that was my first show with them, and then that was my first introduction to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they liked me.
Was that the biggest like fan moment where you were like, holy shit, it's Chase
I was gonna bring it up.
It's Bill Grunler? Or was it more like with Savon? Like, what, like podcast wise? Like who was like
I don't know if I fanboy for anybody. I really don't. Like I met Chase, and he's like 6'2", like he's way taller than you think.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he's a very tall guy. And I was like, "What's up, man?" Hi. And then like thankfully he knew who I was. I half-heartedly don't expect these people to know who I am. There was a moment at Rogue this year where my gym suite was next to the Mayhem suite. And so Rich would walk down that hallway, and so like I was walking down the hallway when Rich was walking down the hallway, and
Judy is feisty, by the way.
Yeah,
He
she's.
fanboys for Fraser. She's feisty. She mad.
oh no, me and Fraser probably wouldn't like each other in person. Just because I say he's the fittest guy ever doesn't mean I think he's a good person. And listen, and maybe he is, maybe he's awesome, but I just don't think me and Matt would get along. Anyway,
Okay.
aside from that,
Shots
was like-
fired, man. I
I was
love
like-
it. This is awesome.
I've not really talked great about Rich, but it's always the Rich and Matt argument. People don't
Yeah.
really give me a chance to talk good about Rich because I'm never going to be on that side for him.
Yeah.
But
It's just
so
not
like I
matching.
just assumed he didn't like me even if he knew who I was at all.
Oh
And-
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And but then I looked at him. He looked like we made eye contact, and I was like, Rich, and then he was just like, hey man, how you doing? Like just the nicest guy ever. And I'm like, I'm doing great, man. And then I walked back. Then we walked.
That's it.
That was it. And that was like the only time I thought I was nervous about that interaction. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous about Rich, but nervous about that interaction. I don't know if I fanboyed for anybody. I really.
God, your veins are ice cold, man. Not nervous.
Have you met Vellner?
I just on podcasts. I feel like he'd cold shoulder me though.
You think so?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because like if I were to ever meet him, like I'd be in the back, right, with the athletes, or like I'd be in the place where nobody else is just be the athletes, and then like I'm just there for some reason. And I don't know. I feel like he would cold shoulder. I think people either like me or they hate me.
Did you pick him wrong one year? Did you pick him second?
No, I said he like freaking Pedro set me up on this one. I said I don't think Vellner will podium next year. I think it's going to be Ricky, Roman, and Jeff, and he's not going to be there. And then Pedro said he thinks Vellner's going to win, and then I said Pedro was on crack, and then he goes, "Why?" And then he told Vellner this, like just told him this on a live show, and then Vellner was like, John likes to yell a lot. I don't know what he said, but it just felt it felt like he didn't like that was. But if somebody talks bad about you, and here's the thing, I am not afraid to say my opinions about anybody. And if somebody doesn't like me for that, I've earned that, and I have to be willing to be okay with people not liking me.
They take how you feel or your ranking seriously. Like, oh, if John Young, you did earn that. If John Young said that he thinks I'm going to end up here, like, does it give them that fuel to prove you wrong?
Yeah, and hopefully they take it as that, as like, watch this. But and it's not personal. And I don't think it's personal with Vellner at all. It's just, if somebody says, hey, you're going to be trash, you're not going to like that person. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I know Alex and Gazan, me and her have a great relationship. I love Alex Gazan, and I told everybody that she was overrated, and then she got 5th at the games and proved me real wrong.
Yeah,
and
you said
and now we're real cool.
She's like, I hear you, I see you.
I was like, you like, yeah, I'm wrong. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, good for you. Most of the time, I'm not wrong. You're one of the rare ones. You
Right.
should think about that.
Hey, is Medeiros ever going to talk to you again?
I doubt it, man. I don't. He was. I saw him too, and he didn't want to look at me. Like at Rogue.
Do you think he has a shot again to be on top of the podium?
We'll see. I'm not going to predict it, but I don't think it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be in the mix. I think he'll be in the tier right below the big three that I just said. I think it'll be Vellner, him, Vikowski, and then.
Oh, you don't think Vellner's going to get on the podium this year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think he'll be in that mix. right? The order, I don't know. But if he, I would be surprised if he won. But if he did, like, all the props to him, you
Yeah.
know, it
Mhm.
would like he did, I feel like something would have to happen for him to win, but we'll see. I
I'm
don't think
I'm
so.
with Judy.
I was gonna say.
I'm with Judy. Judy, me and you agree a lot on this stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, but
John Yon makes her mad, okay?
yeah, she was getting hot
Oh,
in the
Judy's
comments.
sweet. Judy's sweet.
No, she is.
She
We love
DMs me all
Judy.
the time. She's great.
She's amazing.
She was like, "Can you please change the subject? I can't listen
He's
to
making
this
me
about Rich anymore."
mad.
I'm sorry that you root for the wrong person, Judy. It's not my fault.
That's a you problem, right?
Yeah.
That's not me
Yeah.
problem.
Oh man. All right, I'm good. I got it. I got what I wanted to hear. I wanted to fight. It was great.
She'll come up with more stuff and then she'll ask you to come on again if you got time.
Nah, I'm super down.
I
yeah,
see
I
that.
like
Yeah.
this. I get up for this type of conversation. I love debating. I love talking about why I think I'm right, even though I can be wrong.
Well, now I gotta go practice. I don't know who I have to go practice with football. I usually am debating somebody about football somewhere. So
I was like,
I just have to change it.
I love all of it. I'm every sport type of a person. If you want to do other sports, I'm down for that too.
There you go.
All
you have a
right.
sports person.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have any sports friends. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
a Vikings fan, unfortunately, but that's is what it is. What y'all are the Giants or Jets?
Yeah, we're Giants.
Giant. Well, y'all are
Yeah,
pretty unfortunate too, so it's okay. Yeah.
it's very unfortunate. Giants and Mets, super unfortunate.
I
And
got a
very
funny
expensive.
story about Daniel Jones,
Yeah,
if you want to hear it.
yeah. No, tell me.
So my best friend played at Duke when Daniel Jones was at Duke. He's a tight end.
Yeah.
He was in the NFL for 4 or 5 years, like just fourth string tight end, bounced around a lot. But like he was at Duke when Daniel was at Duke. And then Daniel Jones, we were visiting them. We were supposed to work out. Me and my wife were supposed to work out at the Duke's practice facility. And I was going to
Oh, wow.
get his wife to do a
nice.
CrossFit
Cool.
workout. And she's real scared of it. And Daniel Jones had just gotten picked 6. The draft just happened. And we're from Missouri, right? I went to Mizzou. So I'm Drew Lock. I'm all on Drew Lock. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way Daniel Jones is going to have a better career than Drew Lock. Like we're just arguing back and forth. And then my wife, being the good wife she is backing me up. Be like, yeah, Daniel Jones sucks. Like, you see how many interceptions he threw? Like that's why you're not getting. That's why you're 7th rounder or undrafted. If you had a better quarterback, you'd probably been 3rd rounder, right? Like being a great wife, right?
Good job.
Good
job, wifey. Yeah,
that's what we do. We support. We
right.
got the back. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and then he goes, okay, well, when you meet him, can you not tell him that? And then she goes, oh, we're meeting him, and like immediately gets like just starts going into the fetal position and like gets just starstruck. Like, you know how I say I don't really get starstruck by people. She's the exact opposite. She
freaks out, sweating
so hard. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then
focus.
Daniel let us in the building. And he goes, are you with Daniel? My best friend's name is Daniel too. So he's like, you're with Daniel? I'm like, yeah. Hey, thanks, man. And then I'm just talking normal. And then my wife just does not say anything. Like, I'm like, Daniel, this is my wife. Her name's Leslie. And she goes, hello. Like just and it's so funny. And I'm dying on the inside. But anyway, that was my story. It was funny.
Well, we have him for a little while longer, but yeah, no, I get why everybody here was pissed too when we got him. I don't know what we're doing this year.
That's fair. You're probably not from a good.
No, we're gonna have
a tough standpoint.
We're gonna have a tough 5 years right now, so it's all right. It's fine. But yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go practice, and then the next time I can actually try to come up with a thoughtful point. I just came up with something to see if you would play with me.
For sure. No, I love it. Anytime.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Bye, John.
Have a good night. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you guys as well.
Bye.
Oh, that was fun on
Awesome.
so many levels. I was too excited, I think. I was too
Yeah, but you
like
did great.
I was too jumpy, but
No.
that was
You
fun.
did great.
He's so fun. He's really fun. He almost called me. He called us both ma'am. Like, how
Yes.
old do we
I don't know.
look?
But I think
do we look ma'am age? But I mean, I
no,
appreciate it
no,
though.
I think it's a respect thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, but no, he's super cool.
That was fun.
And you did great.
That
You
was
did fantastic.
he was cool. That
I
was
also
a good time.
I love that you give yourself the chance to kind of freak out a little bit and have your moment and whatever. These are big people that
If I
you've
don't get to
watched for
have
a
my
while.
fangirl moment, I'm not going to be able to talk for the rest of the
That's
show.
right.
So,
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
as always, guys, thanks
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with us.
Thank you so much, guys. Happy Easter.
Yes.
Jeffrey, number one, we missed you. Judy, it's good to see you. Jet, we got to talk sports, man. We definitely, we're going to, in the world of hurt this year.
Please. Anybody that talks sports,
Yeah.
complains about
Anything.
sports,
Like, I need it.
like she needs a friend.
Just
like,
DM me. I need a friend.
She needs a sports friend. Anytime you guys want to come on and talk
Hang
with
out.
her,
Yeah,
I will
please.
hang out in the corner because I did my best. So, oh, there he is.
Oh, thanks again, John. Appreciate y'all.
Wow, Jet, y'all are ma'am.
Y'all are apparently. I'll take it though.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Clinton, thanks.